The Young and the Restless spoilers Lucy's drunken disaster, follows Heather grief and Daniel's arrest. Nick turns Sharon in after devastating discovery, forced to call Bobby's ex-wife. Doug Davidson not returning as Paul Williams. 3 other comebacks brewing. Greetings to all Young and the Restless fans. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates. Lucy's drunken disaster follows Heather grief and Daniel's arrest. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Lucy Romalotti isn't managing well with the loss of Heather Stevens, but effects could get indeed worse as this plot moves forward. Daniel Romalotti Jr. has done his stylish to be Lucy's gemstone during this delicate time and lately made her a pledge. Since Daniel can see how shaken up Lucy is, he assured her that he wasn't going anywhere. There was a time when Daniel bailed on Lucy, but he's all in on being a devoted pater now, especially since he's a single parent following Heather's grim fate. Still, Daniel may be forced to break that oath due to circumstances that are beyond his control. Since Sharon Newman is going to set Daniel up and make it look like he's at fault for Heather's demise, that'll take a risk on Lucy. Lucy surely wouldn't believe Daniel is responsible, but she could still spin out if the Bobbies start looking at him as a suspect. Still, can you imagine just how far off the rails Lucy will go? There'll be nothing holding Lucy back from a crapulous disaster if Daniel ultimately gets arrested. Whatever the case, Lucy has formerly proven that when she's derangement, she likes to reach for a booze bottle. That trend could continue in the coming weeks and make to Lucy's wild toot down the road. Lucy might guzzle as important alcohol as possible and end up making another round of bad opinions. Could that lead to Lucy striking back at Sharon or indeed Faith Newman? It all depends on who Lucy blames as this plot heads in indeed more shocking directions. There could be some fresh peril coming up if drunk Lucy has anything to say about it. Our Young and the Restless prognostications point to Lucy resorting to some parlous jest to manage with the chaos in her life, so stay tuned for updates on how all the horrible news will affect her. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Sharon may set off an awful chain response that puts indeed further people in detriment's way, including herself. The Young and the Restless spoilers Nick turns Sharon in after devastating discovery, forced to call Bobby's ex-wife. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Nick Newman will continue to watch over Sharon Newman, especially since he has a feeling that commodity still isn't right. Sharon is putting on quite a show with her favored bones and trying to make them believe she's truly back on track. Still, Sharon easily isn't oaked since she's still seeing Cameron Kirsten and hearkening to his demented advice. Nick knows Sharon better than just about anyone, so he's been raising an eyebrow over her jest recently. Yander suckers have seen Nick gaping at Sharon with concern, so the bus are turning and could eventually lead him to an awful conclusion. Of course, Nick doesn't want to believe Sharon could do commodity like wipe Heather off the chart and dispose of her body. We'll presumably see Nick work to move himself. There has to be another explanation. Indeed, when the suggestions start piling up. Sharon is on the verge of setting Daniel up to take the fall, but Nick may struggle to believe his guilt. The same goes for Chance Chancellor, who may find the substantiation a little too accessible. Once Nick gets further updates on the case, he may launch a disquisition of his own. Nick might play operative to see what he can find out about Sharon and what she really did when she pulled that evaporating act. Sharon resurfaced the last night Heather was alive, so Nick may find that rather disquieting. We might see Nick try to uncover Sharon's trail and prove what he doesn't really want to prove. At some point, Nick might indeed defy Sharon with his reservations and flat estual ask her if she's responsible for Heather's demise. There may come a time when Nick can't deny what's right in front of him, so he may push Sharon to confess and get the help she needs. Still, could Sharon break down in gashes and unmask everything? If Nick scores enough evidence to back up his hunch, however, it may be Nick. If anyone can pry the verity out of Sharon, as much as he'd detest it, Nick could be the one to turn Sharon in after this ruinous discovery. Maybe Nick will feel he has no choice but to call the Bobbies and hand Sharon over to them. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick could land in a terrible position as this plot moves along, so we'll bring you more shocking Sharon news and prognostications on all the fallout. The Young and the Restless appearances and goings: Doug Davidson not returning as Paul Williams. 3 other comebacks brewing. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that we've got some appearances and goings news to partake, so let's launch with the dilemma the show's covering. Now that Heather Stevens is departed, everyone is wondering how Youthful and the Restless will handle effects regarding her father Paul Williams. Daniel Romalotti Jr. encouraged Paul to come back to Geno City and be there for Lucy Romalotti. Although suckers didn't hear the other side of that phone discussion, it was egregious that Paul agreed to return from Portugal. That left some suckers allowing Doug Davidson muscle duplication his part, but he's been clear about washing his hands of the show in recent times. Davidson clarified that he'd not be making a comeback when an addict asked him about it on X, formerly known as Twitter. First out, I haven't been asked, but my answer would presumably be the same as the last time I was asked. It's all enough much in my hinder view glass, Davidson claimed. With that in mind, it's possible Paul could be recast. Also again, they might just have Paul spend some time with Lucy off screen before heading back to Portugal. It'd be easy for Daniel to mention it was just too painful for grieving Paul to stick around for Heather's burial. Whatever the case, Heather was Paul's cherished son, so there'll need to be some kind of explanation for his absence if he's not around. In other news, Amy Lewis lately contacted Nate Hastings about a critical family matter, so he'll come home with updates on some shocking news soon. There's a good chance this involves a half-family Nate knew about, so that may set the stage for a new character preface. Amy Lewis will also return to The Young and the Restless starting October 29, although she'll be played by Valerie Pettiford rather of Stephanie E. Williams this time around. Some other comebacks are in the workshop as well, since we know Jill Abbott has new scenes ahead and Brittany Sarpy will be reprising her part as Elena Dawson. That's all the appearances and goings news to report for now, but we'll keep you posted on any other pop-ups and hot plot prognostications. Thanks for watching these videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.